Panchtantra stories, la la la, the monkey and the crocodile, the most popular and most widely narrated. Wow, lovely, so pretty. A long time ago, there was a monkey who lived in a rose apple tree by the side of a river. He lived alone, but was very happy. One day, a crocodile came out of the river. He swam up to see the tree and told the monkey that he had traveled a long distance and was in search of food as he was very hungry. The kind monkey offered him a few rose apples. The crocodile thanked him and asked him if he could visit the monkey again. After that, the crocodile, "You are always welcome," said the monkey. After that, the crocodile started visiting the monkey every day. They would share rose apples and talk about everything they knew. The crocodile told the monkey that he had a wife and they had lived on the other side of the river. So the generous monkey plucked many rose apples and gave them to the crocodile for his wife. The crocodile's wife loved the rose apples, but she grew jealous of her husband spending so much time away from her in the company of a new friend. She pretended as if she did not believe that her husband, a crocodile, could be friends with a monkey. The crocodile convinced her of his friendship with the monkey. The crocodile's wife thought to herself, if the monkey eats only these sweet rose apples, his flesh must be sweet too. He would be the delicious dinner. So she asked her husband to invite his friend home so that he would meet him. But the crocodile was not happy about inviting his friend home, so the wife thought of a plan. She pretended to be very ill and told the crocodile that the doctor had said that she should get well only if she ate the monkey's heart. If her husband wanted to save her life, she would bring her his friend's heart. The crocodile was stupid enough to believe his wife, but the thought of killing his friend made him very unhappy. He did not want to harm his friend. At the same time, he did not want his wife to die. So the crocodile went to the sea apple tree and invited the monkey home to meet his wife. The monkey was very happy and readily agreed. The crocodile told the monkey that he could ride across the river to the other bank of his back. On his back, on reaching the middle of the river, the crocodile began to sing. The frightened monkey asked him why he was doing so. "I want to kill you," said the crocodile. "My wife is ill and she can recover only if she eats a monkey's heart." The monkey was shocked and started thinking fast. He told the crocodile that he would give up his heart to save the life of the crocodile's wife, but he had left his heart behind in his tree. He requested the crocodile to turn back quickly so that he could fetch his heart. The stupid crocodile became happy when he heard that the monkey was kind enough to offer his heart without any resistance. He couldn't believe that the monkey was willing to offer his heart without any resistance. The thought of not killing his friend while proving his love towards the wife made him happy. The crocodile turned back and swam as fast as he could to the tree. When they reached, the monkey climbed up to the tree to safety. He looked down at the crocodile and said, "Now you can go back to your wicked wife and tell her that the husband is the biggest fool in this world. Your foolishness has no parallel. You are ready to take my life because of an unjust demand from your wife. Then you were stupid enough to believe me and brought me back to the tree. A wise enemy is better than a foolish friend." Yes, right. The stork and the crab. Once upon a time, there lived a stork by the side of a tank. There were plenty of fish in the tank, and the stork always had a full meal. As the years passed, the stork grew old and found it difficult to catch the fish for food. Sometimes he would be hungry for days. The stork thought of a plan. He would by the tank with a sad look on his face. He did not attempt to catch any fish. The fish, frogs, and the crabs in the tank noticed and asked him what the matter was. "I've heard that some humans will soon fill this tank and grow crops over it. There will not be any fish left alive. This makes me sad," replied the stork, and the fish were very worried and asked the stork to help him. The stork offered to take all of them to a bigger tank some distance away, but since he was old, He would need to rest between trips and would be able to carry only a few fish at a time. Saying this, he set out on his first trip, taking a few fish in his beak. However, he did not go to another tank. Instead, he took them to a bog rock and ate them there. Each time he was hungry, he would take a trip with a few more fishes. The crab was left in the tank. He also wanted to save himself and requested the stork to take him also. The stork felt he could try a different meal for a change. He agreed to take a crab. The stork flew up with him. After a while, the crab looked down to see the tank where he was going to, but all he could see was dry land. "Uncle, where is the big tank you are taking me to?" The stork laughed and pointed to the rock below. There were heaps of fish's bones on the rock. The crab realized that he was going to be the stork's next meal. He thought quickly of a way to save himself. The crab dug his sharp claws into the stork's neck and did not let go till the stork fell down dead. He then cut off the stork's head and dragged it to the tank he lived in. There he told everyone how the stork had been cheating everyone and how he had killed him. Yes, the loyal mongoose. Once there was a farmer who lived with his wife and his infant son in a village. The farmer and his wife loved their son very much. One day, while returning from the fields, the farmer found a little mongoose lying near the road. He looked pale and hurt. The farmer picked it up and brought it to his home. He told his wife that the little mongoose would be pet of their son. His wife did not like the idea of having a mongoose near their son, but accepted reluctantly. The farmer tended to the wounds of the mongoose and gave it food and water. The mongoose recovered very quickly. The farmer's son and the mongoose started growing together. One day, the farmer's wife had to go to the market. She put her son to sleep and told her husband to look after him. She told him not to let the mongoose go near the son. So she somehow felt that it was not safe to let the animal go near the son. The husband assured her that he would look after the baby. Soon after the wife had left for the market, the farmer was called by the local moneylender. The moneylender wanted his money to be returned that he had lent to the farmer some time back. The farmer had a good harvest that season and had the money ready with him. The baby was sleeping, and thus the farmer could not take the child with him. He placed the child in his cradle and left him with the mongoose. He believed that the mongoose was an intelligent animal and would take care of their son. After some time, the farmer's wife came back with a basket full of vegetables. She found the mongoose waiting for her outside the house. She looked at the mongoose and realized that something was not right. The face and the paws of the mongoose were covered with blood. She was dumbstruck. "You dirty creature, you killed my son," she cried and struck the mongoose on the head with a basket full of vegetables. She ran inside and was relieved to find the baby sleeping peacefully in his cradle. But on the floor lay a black snake, torn into pieces and bleeding. The snake appeared very poisonous. The farmer's wife realized what had happened. The mongoose must have seen the snake, and realizing that it might harm the baby, the mongoose would have torn the snake into pieces. But what had she done? She rushed back to the mongoose. With tears in her eyes, she lifted the heavy basket and went down to look at him. Loyal mongoose was dead. Oh God. Lord. See? The Brahmin's dream. Long ago, there lived a poor Brahmin in a village. He used to beg for a living and sometimes had to go without food for many days. One day, he got a pot full of flour. He was very happy. He took the pot home and hung it up near his bed. He lay on the bed and gazed at his pot. Soon he fell fast asleep and started dreaming. He dreamed that if a famine came to the land, he would sell the flour for a very good price. People would outbid each other. They would finally sell it for 20 rupees. With these 20 rupees, he would buy a pair of the goats. He would feed these goats of green grass, and the goats would have lots of kids, and he would trade the whole herd of goats for buffaloes and cows. The cows would have calves of their own, and they would be lots and lots of milk. He would make sweetmeats with the milk and butter and curd and sell it all in the market. Soon he would grow very rich and build a big house with huge gardens and the fruit orchards. He would now start trading in pearls and diamonds and other precious stones. The king would hear of his riches and bring along his daughter. The beautiful princess, and offer her hand in marriage. Soon they would have sons and the daughters, and they would run around the house playing. When he would grow tired, he would pick up a stick and beat them and beat them and beat them. Imagining he was beating the children, the Brahmin began to beat the air with his hands. Suddenly his hands struck the pot of flour. The pot broke and all its contents spilled to the ground. The Brahmin woke up to find that he was dreaming everything. There was no big house, no lovely garden, and no wife and no or children. Only the broken pot and flowers scattered all over the floor. I never built castles in the air. Yes, union is strength. Long ago there lived a flock of pigeons in a dense forest. In the flock there was an old pigeon who was very wise. All the pigeons respected and loved the wise pigeon. During the daytime the pigeons used to fly all over the jungle in search of food and water. Every day before the nightfall they used to come back to their nest. One day, while searching for food, the pigeons saw rice grains spread on the ground. All the pigeons at once decided to fly down and eat the rice grains. But the wise pigeon did not think it was a good idea. He became suspicious that it could be a trap laid down by the bird catcher. How could so much of rice be found in this thick forest, he thought. He tried to stop all the other pigeons from going down and eating the rice, but none of them listened as they were very hungry. It was indeed a trap. A bird catcher had laid the net to catch the pigeons. The pigeons flew down, sat on the net and began to eat the rice grains. Soon they found that they were unable to move as their feet got caught in the net. The wise pigeon did not come down and decided to sit on the branch of a nearby tree. The bird catchers saw the pigeons trapped in a net. "Ah, so many pigeons. I will put them in the cage and sell them in the market," he chuckled and ran toward the pigeon trapped in his net. The wise pigeons saw the bird catcher coming towards the pigeons. The pigeons were desperately trying to free themselves from the net by pulling the net in their own direction. "What should we do now? No matter how hard we try, we are not able to get rid of this net," they cried. "Please save us," they begged the wise pigeon. "Stop pulling the net in your own direction. Instead, try to fly up together and carry the net with you." All the pigeons did as told. They started flapping their wings together and in no time started flying with the net still stuck to their feet. The bird catcher saw this act of unity in disbelief. The wise pigeon took the entire flock along with the net to the house of his friend a mouse. He narrated the entire incident to the mouse and requested him to help. Even though the mouse did not have wings to fly, he had something like that the pigeons needed right now, a sharp teeth. He immediately set to work and cut the entire net, freeing all the pigeons. The pigeons thanked the mouse for help. They also thanked the wise pigeon for saving their lives. The wise pigeon said, "Unity has great strength. As long as you stay united, no harm can come upon you. It was your act of unity that saved your lives today." Beautiful. Cat's judgment. A partridge lived in a nest beneath a large peepal tree. She had been living there for many years. One day, she left her home to look for food. She traveled to a cornfield far away and stayed in the field for many days. While the partridge was away, the rabbit found her empty nest and made it his home. When the partridge returned, she was surprised and angry to find the rabbit living there. She told the rabbit to leave, but the rabbit refused, saying that it was no longer her home since she had not been living there for many days and he had found it empty. The rabbit and the partridge argued loudly for some time. Many animals and the birds gathered around. They heard both sides of the argument but were unable to decide whom the house belonged to. They told the partridge and the rabbit to take the disputes to a judge. The partridge and the rabbit traveled far and wide, finally reaching the banks of the Ganges. There at a distance they saw a tomcat. However, they were scared to approach him. The tomcat was very wicked. He quickly closed his eyes, stood up on his hind legs, and started praying at the top of his voice a partridge. And the rabbit were puzzled as they were seeing a holy cat for the first time. They decided he would be a good judge for the dispute. When the tomcat finished his prayers and opened his eyes, the partridge explained the entire argument to the cat. When she had finished speaking, the rabbit told his part of the story. The cat was quietly for a minute and then said, "I'm very old and cannot hear or see properly. Can you both come a little closer and tell me the whole story again?" The partridge and the rabbit now trusted the tomcat and moved closer to him. As soon as they had moved forward, the cat hit them hard with his paws, killed them, and ate them up. My, got it. See? Never trust a stranger, even though he may seem very friendly. The tiger, the Brahmin, and the jackal. Once a Brahmin was passing through a forest when he came across a tiger caught in a trap. "Oh, pious Brahmin, please let me out of this cage," called the tiger to the Brahmin. "Oh, no, my friend. If I do so, you will kill me and eat me." The tiger sought to not kill him and promised he would be the Brahmin's slave for his entire life, listening to the tiger's plead. The Brahmin's heart softened and he released the tiger from the trap. The tiger immediately pounced on him and cried, "What a fool you are! What is to prevent me eating you now?" The Brahmin pleaded for his life. The tiger granted that he would abide by the decision of the first three things. The Brahmin chose to question as to the justice of the tiger's action. The Brahmin first asked a tree, "I give shelter to all who pass, yet humans tear down my brothers for firewood. You are a fool to expect gratitude," replied the tree. Disappointed, the Brahmin turned to a buffalo. "I give human milks, and all they feed me is my dry grass. Now that I have run dry, they tie me to a yoke and make me work from morning to night. You are a fool to expect gratitude," replied the buffalo. Finally, the tiger and the Brahmin saw a jackal passing by and told him the entire story. "How very confusing," replied the jackal, shaking his head. "You were in the cage and the tiger came walking by. Your story does not make any sense. Could you please tell me again?" So the Brahmin told it all over again, but the jackal shook his head in a distracted sort of way. "I do not understand. The cage was in the tiger, and you came walking by." "What a fool you are," the tiger exclaimed. "I was in the cage and the Brahmin was walking by." "Of course, my dear tiger, I was in the cage and you came walking by, but how is that possible?" replied the jackal. The tiger was now getting impatient and he was very hungry. He jumped into the cage and said, "Look, I was in the cage like this and the Brahmin came walking by. Now do you understand perfectly?" grinned the jackal and cunningly shut the door. Moral: any judgment should always be given after due thought. Yes, the elephant and the mice. Long ago, there was a beautiful city with lots of large temples and houses. The city was prosperous and its residents were always very happy and cheerful. Close to the city was large and clean lake. The water in the lake was very sweet. But with the passage of time, the city turned into ruins and its residents moved to faraway towns and cities in other kingdoms. They took all their belongings along, including their cattle, bullocks, carts, goats and horses. Even the stray dogs and cats decided to follow the residents of the city and moved out with them. Only the mice in the city decided to stay back, even without any residents. The natural vegetation in the city supplied enough food for the mice that they decided to stay back. The mice was lined with a lot of fruit trees. They could now eat a variety of the fruits and vegetables that grew in the city. Slowly the mice grew in number and the entire city turned into the city of mice. Several generations started living together in the city. There were grandparents, parents, uncles, aunts, cousins, and lots of baby mice. It was one large mice family. They held their festivals and get-togethers. They took great care of each other in sickness and in health. Far away from the city, there was a very dense forest. A huge river used to pass through the forest, supplying clean water to all the animals staying in the jungle. Amongst the animals, there was a big herd of elephants. The elephants stayed in harmony with other animals in the jungle. The jungle provided them with ample food, water, and shelter during the summer. The river ran dry due to the very less rain. The animals in the forest started dying of thirst. The queen of the elephant herd asked all the young elephants to go in all directions in search of water. After a few days, one of the elephants came back to the queen elephant and told her about the lake near the mice city. The queen elephant was once ordered the herd to leave the forest and move toward the lake. As soon as the herd saw the lake, they started running towards it, and they had not been in the water for many months and could not stop themselves from making a dash towards the lake. In their excitement, they did not notice that hundreds of mice were getting trampled under their feet. The mice tried to save themselves, but many were killed and injured. They also feared that on their way back from the lake, the elephants would unknowingly trample many more. An old mouse suggested that they should go and narrate the whole incident to the queen elephant. Further, they should request the queen elephant to take the herd from some other route. The mice did as suggested by the old mouse. The queen elephant was very sorry for the loss that the herd had brought upon the city of the mice. She assured the mice that the herd would take a different route while going back to the forest and would never fear the city of mice. The old mouse thanked the queen for understanding their concern. He was told the queen that the mice family would always be ready to help the elephants if need be. Many months passed by. The king of the nearby kingdom was raising an army and wanted a lot of elephants for his regiment. His servants went to the forest and laid traps for catching the elephants. They dug deep trenches and covered them with leaves and kept lots of bananas on them. The elephants, while trying to reach out for the bananas, fell into the traps, and servants pulled out the trapped elephants with the help of other tamed elephants. Once out of the trenches, the servants tied them up to the trees with the help of thick ropes and went back to inform the king. The queen elephant was one among those who got trapped. She kept calm and started thinking of the way to escape. At once, she thought of the old mouse and his promise of helping the elephants whenever required. She called one of the young elephants who had not fallen into the trench and was still free. She asked the young elephant to go to the city of the mice and narrate the entire incident. The young elephant did as instructed. Soon thousands of mice came running to the forest to help their friends in this hour of need. Within minutes, they cut loose the ropes with their sharp teeth. The elephant was free again. The queen elephant thanked the old mouse for remembering the promise and for rescuing the elephants from their captor. The old mouse was happy that the mice were able to help the elephant and thus repay the debt. The elephant and the mice became great friends. They lived in peace ever after. Yes. Right? A friend in need is a friend indeed. Like it. Pretty, no? Wonderful. The mice that ate iron. Once there was a rich merchant called Nedok. Time passed and his business turned for the worse. Soon it was so bad that he not only lost all his money but also got into debt. He decided to leave the city and find his fortune in a new place. He sold all his possessions to pay for his debts. Before leaving his town, Nedek went to see his good friend Bondu. He requested him to keep the beam with him till he returned. Of course, my friend, I'll keep the beam safe for you. Nedek thanked him and left. He traveled far and wide for many years and worked very hard. He started trading in spices and soon became rich again. He returned to his town, bought a new house and opened a very large shop. Bondu had also heard that Nindak is back in town and had started a new business with the money he had earned in all these years. One day, after dark, Nindak went to visit his friend Bondu, who welcomed him warmly. They talked for long and he was about to leave. Nindak asked Bondu to return his beam. Bondu had no intention of returning as he knew that when sold, it would fetch him a good price. He put on a sad face and said, "Something bad has happened. I have kept the beam safely in my storeroom, but the mice had eaten it. I'm really very sorry." Nandak understood what was going on in Bondu's mind. "Please don't feel sorry. It's not your fault that the mice ate the iron beam," said Nandak. Bondu was pleased to see that Nandak had fallen for the lie. How stupid can one be, thought Bondu. Meanwhile, Nandak asked Bondu to send his son home with him so that he would hand over the gifts that he had bought for him. Bondu immediately asked his son Bindu to go with Nandak and fetch the gifts. Nandak took the boy home and locked him in the cellar of his house. When the Bindu did not return by evening, his father got worried and came to ask about the whereabouts of his son. Nandak said, "Oh, it was so unfortunate. While we were coming to my house, a hawk swooped down and carried the boy off. I followed the hawk for some time but would not keep pace. I'm sorry, my friend." On hearing this, Bondu became furious. He accused Nandak of lying. He insisted that the hawk could not carry off a 15-year-old boy. A quarrel started and they both went to the court. "Your Honor, I had sent my son with this man to fetch some gifts from his house, but my son has not returned since. This man has stolen my son," cried Bondu. The magistrate ordered Nandak to return the boy to his father, but Nandak insisted that the hawk carried off the boy. The magistrate asked him how it was possible. "If mice can eat up an iron beam, surely a hawk can carry off a boy." The magistrate understood. There were more to it than meets the eye here. He asked Nandak to explain everything in detail. Nandak then narrated the entire story. Everyone in the courtroom had a good laugh. The magistrate ordered Bondu to return the iron beam to Nandak and Nandak to return Bondu's son. Good? Like it? Very, very nice. What goes round comes around. A lie never gets undetected. A tortoise and the geese. Wow. La la la. Once there was a tortoise and two geese that lived in a pond. All three of them were great friends and lived happily for many years. Yes. Then a drought struck the land. All the rivers and the tanks started drying up. People and animals were dying. The geese decided to leave the country and fly away to some other place. Their friend had told them the place that which had plenty of food and water. When they met the tortoise to bid farewell to him, the tortoise begged them not to leave him alone. The geese said, "Dear friend, even we do not want to leave you behind in this hour of need, but unlike you, we cannot sustain without food and water for too long. Our friends tell us of another place which has plenty of water and food. If you could fly, you could come with us too." But the tortoise could not fly. He kept begging the geese to take him along. Finally, the geese relented. They told the tortoise, "You have very strong jaws. We have thought of a plan, but it is very risky. You will have to do exactly what we tell you. If you fail to follow our instructions, you will die." The tortoise agreed. They got a stick. The geese hold the ends of their stick with their beaks. The tortoise would hold the middle of the stick. The only condition was that the tortoise should not speak or it would fall from the stick into instant death. The tortoise that this plan was very dangerous, but he did not want to be left behind. He promised to remain silent during the flight. The geese flew up, carrying the tortoise with them. They flew over the hills and the fields and the village. As they flew over the village, people clapped their hands and shouted, "Look how wonderful the geese are carrying the tortoise. Maybe they have captured the pure animal." The tortoise did not like the pointing and staring and, unable to control himself, burst out, "What are these fools?" As he spoke these words, he lost hold of the stick and fell from the great height to the ground and died. Think before you act. The outsmarted Brahmin. God. Once a Brahmin